I don't care about him. I care about.
Did you talk to Matt about this curating?
I talked to Matt.
Is he on it? He mentioned saying, like months ago, and then
I think he never told me. Like on a job site.
Little one, thank you.
And he's not back until tomorrow. Hey, MJ. Thank you for coming. I'm glad they liked
to the opening, the birthday opening.
The birthday opening. Our birthday opening.
Thank you. Watermelon.
Yeah, this is good. So I was gonna do it, but then Lars just sent me another
What made you like
Yes.
I have an everything. I know. I brought up who else was I thinking?
There's a lot of watermelon.
No, it's spring.
I'm very confused. It's not summer yet.
No, but it's
First watermelon of the season.
I've never done that.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate baking. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Rachel O'Neill. I'm on the board putting up this fine. Behind me is Jacob. If you haven't met him, who's the member liaison. Y'all voted him in. He's doing great. Twice. Really A+. And then there's Lars over there. He has a camera set up. We're gonna go through and we're gonna give high-level updates. Most of us are going to be chatting, but the staff is also going to. We have a fresh face in the house. Yeah, new faces in the audience. This is great. I don't know everyone. I've been MIA for a while. I am a maker too. And here he is. Oh. Nothing's happening. Tell me, what does it say behind me?
Annual meeting.
So I can tell a pirate joke. Okay, this is how we make a meeting. First we get eggs, and then we get butter. No. Milestones. We did a lot. We did a shit ton. And we're gonna pass out candy if you know the answers. So metric shit ton. Yes, it's gluten free. Lars is going to give an overview state of the organization. We're going to talk about Stompy. Who remembers Stompy? We're going to talk about Stompy in the house. And then we're going to talk about the future. What is the future? It's pretty fucking exciting. And then we're going to wrap up with whatever's last there on the list. Something like, I appreciate artists. You guys rock. And we're going to start with trivia. Jacob, take it away.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, if you think you know the answer, raise your hand, and then I'll just have you call it out, and Rachel will hand out whoever's closest. Candy to whoever's closest. How many square feet do we have? 40. No, just call it out. 40,000.
No, it's 42,000.
38.
Just giving candy to everyone.
This is a trick question. 39.
Okay, annual budget.
Money, money, money.
1.3.
1 million? Anyone else?
1.2 million.
1.2?
1.6.
How many visitors do you think we got here? What's the budget? 1.2 million. Anybody, any guess? 5,000? 7,230.
Okay, how many active members do we have? 425?
25 active.
437, pretty close.
So close. Who is that?
420. 10.
Percentage of women. Gotta, so I want to take a guess here.
Better than that one, so.
This is hard. She got hard.
32.
45.
45, 30. Let's see who was closest.
Damn, Asian Judy gets the rest of the box.
Hey, girl. It's getting good. Just awesome. Like bowling.
I'm in
What
Andy
percent of
mode.
members are from Somerville?
That's 10%.
15%.
80.
Michael can't play.
Yeah.
15% of us are from Somerville.
Alright, who's that?
Okay, sending community means the community that most of us are from.
Cambridge.
Boston.
What? What?
25%.
Alright, I'll try again. Where's your eye protection?
Current number of studios.
161.
Studios.
110.
110? Anyone else?
126.
126?
5.
I'm aiming now.
61.
Wow.
I'm so wrong.
Okay.
75.
Don't leave these.
Number of full-time employees.
1.2.
7.
200.
Employees.
We have 5 full-time employees now. How about part-time employees? 12.
25.
44.
25.
37.
It's actually 14.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, raise your hand if you're a part-time employee.
As in,
Ashley.
Not teachers, yes, the shop.
teachers are.
Okay.
Teachers are 1099s.
24.
It's bigger.
27.
27. 26.
I don't know. Oh, we lost one.
Yeah, you're close. Okay. Classes per month. This is approximate, yeah, it's average, yeah. 15, 5, 15,
61.
61,
84. 25.
How many instructors do you have here? And one way. How many miles of 3D printing filament have you gone through in 1 year? 1.75 or 1.8? Calculate it that way. Any guesses? 6,000 miles? About 6 miles of 3D.
so that's 20 plus volts, and I padded it a little bit. Okay, how many light years do you think that skull has flown? So that means how many miles did it ridden in 1 year?
Individually or?
That's all of skull in 1 year.
500 miles.
On the website.
4,000?
500 miles.
Fact checker.
500?
That would be
4,000?
500.
Anyone?
times.
11 miles.
That's awesome.
Now that's not cumulative. That's not counting every single time.
She can dish them out.
Oh.
How many resistors do you think the intro to electronics classes have gone through in 1 year?
Gross.
Anyone?
200. Gone through it, yeah. At least 400.
I'm amazed if this is counted.
And the drawers are still full. So can't get rid of
The
that.
resistance starts here.
Oh, but that's it.
All right, so I'm going to transfer to an update about how we're doing as an organization.
So before I do, one of the things
That's an incredible metric for how well we're doing is we've got a lot of new board members. So could really quickly, everyone who's on the board, come stand up front here really quick, just so we can get our board.
Yeah, they're all that.
Yeah, can you guys, starting with Ramesh, quickly introduce yourself to our community, who you are, maybe what you're passionate about in terms of Artisan Asylum, and some random fact about yourself. Ramesh, please.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ramesh Advani. I live in Boston. I'm retired after spending a lifetime in the medical manufacturing industry and financial services. And now I'm involved in nonprofits, and I got all turned on by all the creativity and innovation that goes on here. So I joined the board. My background is pretty much in finance.
I'm Jake Baraka. I've been here for about 6 years. I'm the member liaison on the board, and I play with duct tape and tap dance and I play trombone.
Hi, I'm Molly Rubenstein. I know some of you. I used to work here at Artisan Asylum back in the day. It's really exciting to be back. In the meantime, I've actually been working at MIT, helping people start makerspaces and train in entrepreneurship and problem-solving design thinking in low-income countries around the world. I'm really excited about creating spaces where you can mix work and learning and play. And fun fact that some of you probably know, but not all of you, is that I got involved in Artisan Asylum. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah, so there may be two of you that I haven't met before, so I'll rectify that before the night is up. I've been here for a little while, and I think I'm a professional maker, and I really love the mission and the idea, everything we do here. So trying to spread the word, trying to have more people. I love that there's so many people here today. So thanks for coming. Good vibes. Yeah.
I'm Michael Shai. I've been here for about 7 years. Seems like forever. I just want to see this place survive. I think this place is a jewel in the crown of Somerville and Cambridge, and we do so many cool things here. It's got to survive. And so that's why I'm on the board, and I love making furniture, motorcycles, electronic stuff that Whitney goes on. But I'm glad to be in this welcoming community.
You're here. You wanted to survive, I wanted to grow.
I agree.
Hello again, I'm Rachel O'Neill. I am a maker. I refurbish furniture and I burn furniture.
Oh, yeah.
My professional skill set includes organizational design, leadership coaching, and people strategy, and that's why I'm on the board. I carry the organization through some of the leadership transitions. We have new bylaws. And we're setting a lot of the foundational things that we need to grow this organization and to make sure it exists and to make sure the next chapter is fucking amazing. So.
Hi guys, I'm Steve Durazinski. I was a member here a couple of years ago, and when I first walked in the door, I just immediately fell in love with the place. I have a bunch of friends that come in and out of here. I am a long-time maker, but I'm also an MIT engineer, an MBA, and I've raised a ton of capital for a lot of startup companies. And Lars disappeared.
No, right here.
Oh, there you go. I'm blind to you. Heard from Lars about some of the interesting fun growth challenges and movement challenges, and then also heard from Rachel and had some discussions with her and the rest of the board and decided to join the board. So I don't know if I'm officially on the board right now, or maybe we'll be.
Yeah, we already.
Apparently I am. So I'm happy to be back and look forward to growing and stabilizing and doing all the wonderful things and enabling you guys to do the fantastic stuff you do, and can't wait to see the next chapter of part of it. So come find me whenever the social event happens.
Hi, I'm Mike Dawson. I'm a member here, one of the 2 member elected board of directors. I have a small design build company. I'm mostly here during the days, but I'm here because I'm in awe of all the cool stuff you guys make that I don't know how to make, but I love it. A fun fact that nobody knows is I once cracked both my front and back windshield all at once loading a kayak.
So just to put this in context, this is the group plus 2, 3 more, and then coming, we're going to talk about it, but that's going to help us figure out where we're going to be in 2 years from now, right? So work together. The relationship between the member community and our board is going to be essential. Thank you, Rachel, for stewarding us through that process. Of course, everyone else. I can't wait. So
It's gonna be fun.
yeah, let's go.
Stick around.
Okay, what's that? Oh, so let's see, really quick background. I joined Artisan Asylum about 10 months ago, and since then, I have to say, I've been really, really grateful for how welcoming this community has been. I don't know shit about half the stuff you guys do, and you haven't made it matter. You know, I get to focus on our facility, on our staff, on our strategy, on our budgets. I haven't had time to make my art, which is fine. You guys have been an incredible community to join. I wanted to thank you for that before we begin. I think that as we talk a little bit about the state of the organization, my goals tonight are going to be to communicate some of the milestones that I've seen over the last 10 months or so. I know many of you have a much, much longer history. I don't own that, so I'm not going to try to talk about it. But as your questions come up or your observations, feel free to insert them. I think we've come quite far, at least as far as the way things looked on paper back in August 6th. I won't forget that day. And I'm going to have to thank all of you for making that happen, whether it's, you know, a wall out here, Sal, Adam, the new things as well as the ongoing things, Dr. Claw, the audio, which I'm not using, but I will. So yeah, I mean, the support that you guys give and the love that you guys give to this place every damn day is ultimately what makes it work. The board and I could put together the most beautiful spreadsheets in the world, but if you don't love this place, they're not going to mean anything. So thank you for how much you give to artisans every day. Applause to you. Let's dive in. I want to kind of whip through these quickly, but if you have a question, let's try to pause. I'll try to answer it. Otherwise, I'll do it offline. The state of artisans, I would say, is strong today. It's really exciting to see, A, how many folks are here tonight. It's a really good indicator. And I think that there are systems, there are improvements. They're not life-changing. You know, we don't have the latest, you know, CNC machines and things yet. But we're stabilized, and I think that we've got this incredibly strong foundation to grow on, and that's built, again, on all of you and the contributions that you make. So here's what that looks like a little bit in terms of key indicators, right? So we've grown, right, from 290. That's when I started. Making every day. Our monthly revenue has grown very strongly. And again, that's because you guys write the checks, right? I mean, you guys you see value here, both in the community, the knowledge that you bring together, and the things that you can do here. And that value has grown. So thank you. Our education revenue under our education manager and writer started perhaps a month. Tim, am I right? About a month, 2 months before I did?
Yep.
She's done an extraordinary job, almost doubling that revenue. And we've got a long ways to go. She's very clear-eyed about her goals, and I'm going to walk you through them because she couldn't be here tonight to join us. But our education revenue has really grown. And our visits per month have grown. You know, more people are hearing about us. You know, one of the things that Mike keeps reminding me of is our outreach needs more, right? We need more outreach. Well, it's growing, and we're going to continue to grow that outreach. And all of you, as you go out to the community, Freetown labs, out to industry labs, wherever, you can bring those people and that energy, that excitement here. So that's just a few key indicators to suggest the basis of why I think we're strong today. We can also show some new revenue earning partnerships. You know, Greentown Labs has become a really solid institutional member. We've got a great partnership with Cambridge Creative Education, which brings young people from South Korea. They're going to be doing more groups this summer to learn hands-on making and robotics. Those kinds of partnerships are exciting. And we've got Wolfram to donate some pretty extraordinary software. Anybody here is really excited about data. Wolfram is now a partner. We have incredibly strong board governance now, you know. It's not just a board comprised of members, it's a board that's also comprised of external people passionate about what our members do, who bring very, very deep skill sets in essential areas. I would say we have extraordinarily deep member engagement, right? The fact that you guys work late nights to put in a photo studio, you engage with each other to build amazing things. Christina putting together the fiber studio. Where are you? Right there. Yeah, and the deskies, the volunteering every day, you know, even when it's snowing, you know, when it's closed, you show up. Thank you, Ruth, for coordinating that. And of course, our hardworking staff, right? We get an incredible amount done with 4 people. Tom doesn't sleep, we're working on that. Look good today. Thank you. A big thanks to the staff. All right, so what else we got here? So all of this work has resulted in some really exciting youth engagement opportunities. I think we're going to see more with the city of Somerville as things evolve. We have returning members. You know, I really like the story that Karen Christians brings. You know, she knows that jewelry shop inside and out, and she's kind of returned back with a lot of energy. And there's others. Steve, folks who have come back. So thank you for returning and bringing your confidence and your enthusiasm to this community. We have improved facility. Tom's working triple time to ensure that you know, things are working despite, you know, the needs of our Millennium Falcon. You're keeping it going. So cheers. Along with an incredible group of, I should say, our shop leads as well. Who's on a shop lead? Put your hands up because you guys. You know, this is one of the conundrums that we're in. We know that our lease is up here at some point, so it's really tough to figure out where we can invest, right? We want to invest in things that we can bring with us, not things that are going to stay here. So we're constantly juggling that every day. But nonetheless, I think things are slowly getting better. We do need to get some new equipment in that separate facility. And then we have really strengthened program performance. I think that education is a good example of that. But we also see the meetups that are happening and other activities. Our programming here is becoming exciting, and the fact that, you know, we're able to win contracts. For example, with the Cambridge Redevelopment Authority, they see what's happening here, and they want to understand how to do it. And so folks like James are able to work with them and can't port culture, but you might be able to port the conditions in which culture thrives. So strengthen program performance here as well. So that's the basis for why I think we're strong, but it's really about you guys. Remember that picture, Josh? You and the mayor? Where are you, Josh? There you are. Thank you for making that key. I think that was the first ask I ever officially made to the community. You stepped up. I don't know who else contributed. You guys can see that key at the top that Josh is presenting to Mayor Curtatone. Can you tell that story, Josh, really quick? What's on it? That's awesome. What's on that?
So we wanted to present the mayor with the key. He came to visit, and it was really inspiring. It started with a group of us, what, maybe 7 of us saw, 6 of us coming together. It was laser cut by Donovan. It was the metal braids were also put together. It was beautiful by a collection of us, and we just made it happen. And it wasn't any one individual person, but a lot of us came together. Yeah.
And thank you. I think that's truly what makes this place thrive is the amount that you pitch in every day. This is like 1/100 of the people that I have of just organizing them. So yeah, if we're strong, it's because you're giving. So thank you very much. What's next here? Staff updates. Oh, this is the fun part. Get to put staff online to stand and deliver. Who's first? Tim Butterworth, operation. All right, Tim.
It's a little hard to hear in the back. So.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. Everyone.
Hey, Tim.
Raise it up.
So many people are helping with this. So there's a lot to cover today, so I'm going to be just a quick review of what's going on in the operations department. A lot of my day is pretty, bogged down in the minutia with little things that are working for weird little reasons and are generally quickly resolved. And then when they're not, I'm so happy to be supported by the team that we have here and the members that we have here when something's more complicated. It needs some more investment, it needs some more time, and most importantly, we need some more patience, which you guys have all shown such a tremendous amount of over my last little year plus of being on staff here at A2. So the biggest thing is introducing club automation. The amount that you guys interact with it is hopefully minimal from the member portal. But as a change to our backend billing system, ERP handles all of our contracts, invoices, billing. It's really major. There were a lot of issues with our old system that we don't really get into, but it's a profoundly different experience working with a new system that's had some thought put into it. So we've seen a big reduction in billing errors. That doesn't mean we have no billing errors, and a lot of them are inherited from the old system, but it's been much easier to resolve them and resolve them in a way that they don't rear their head again. We have much more accurate records now. Consolidated services is a big one. So club automation, for instance, is going to be managing our access control. So we don't need member app, we don't need Edge Solo, since we don't need Stripe. Just a lot of little things like this that we're able to and consolidate into one piece of software. And I think most importantly, education, all of our class sales are going through the same platform as our studio, storage rentals, and memberships. So there's really only one billing portal that members need to be concerned about. And it's cheaper, which is nice. So in the member services department, we've had a bunch of improvements. Certainly not as many as we'd like. I think we've been kind of treading water in that department a lot. Thankfully, we can rely on a great community to help welcome in new members. But we have had some improvements like selling gift certificates and day passes online, improving the cancellation policy. We built up a very eager studio waiting list, which is great. We now, in this entire place, have one studio that's not currently rented, and we're a few people coming in the next week to take a look at it. So it's a so in member services, especially, I have a lot to look forward to over the next year. I think as Lars has gotten a lot of things really buckled down, I think it allows us to really improve what we offer to the community on a more personal level. So, you know, generally increasing automation so that if you need to submit something through a form, it is efficient and effective, but also realizing that there needs to be a human follow-up and, you know, sometimes a little hand-holding. If you're coming in here, we want you to be able to devote your mental energy and your time to making art, not to figuring out the quirks in the systems that we designed or inherited. So there are a lot of improvements to be made there, and you know, there's some things we're working on already, and some things that we'll uncover and need to work on, but it's all going to be improved. Yeah, so improving response time as well as a really difficult thing with not having somebody devoted fully to member services, but we have introduced a few kind of systems in the back end that have helped improve that. And the entire team has been willing to step in and help as new memberships as tasks arise. And then we continue to improve accounts receivable. So this sort of means a lot of things. It means that that bills are being created correctly in the first place, that we don't have anyone in this account. It means that we're making it easy for people to pay on time. They can update their billing information that they expect. And it means generally that we're communicating expectations to members, that we're not billing people for something that they don't understand or maybe don't want. So seeing that number shrink is fantastic for a lot of things. So looking ahead, new member onboarding, I think, is one of the things I'm most excited to focus some time and energy on. As we're growing, we're going to be bringing in new people, and you know, the immediate concern with new members coming in is how we can make sure that they use tools safely. And beyond that, we want to make sure that they can use tools effectively and actually build what they want. So as part of that, we're going to be transitioning sometime over the summer to mandatory orientations. Right now, they're suggested, but we don't have a regular schedule of them. They're difficult to just schedule if you don't happen to be available in the week. So that's going to be a big improvement. Just so that when a new member joins, they actually know how to use everything that's here. If they have questions, they know where they should be directed. And up until this point, a lot of people kind of come in and are thrown through wolves sometimes. That's really unfortunate when it happens that way. So we want to make sure that it stops. As well as improvements to our website and wiki. There's so much information up there. There's, at one point may have had a sense of a hierarchy and now is sort of tossed around. So, I think we all do little edits here and there, kind of generally honing it, but certainly a lot of improvements left to make. And I'll call out MJ specifically, who's putting some time in the wiki, which is hugely appreciated. Jason is working on a few projects that he's going to speak more to them, but one of them is a new status page for our tools, so you can know whether they're online or not, as well as different IT assets. So if you're curious if servers are live, if our internet is up, that sort of thing, they'll be an easy way to find out all that information, as well as replacing our very dated resources. And then at some point, we don't have concrete plans yet, but certainly we'll be working on a new website, which is going to be a big challenge. I think at this stage we don't know even quite how big of a challenge it will be, but we clearly have a need for a new one. So looking forward to taking that on as well.
Hello, everyone. LinkedIn told me that it's officially my 1-year anniversary working here full-time or part-time as an employee. Congratulations. Right? I have a glass of wine over there. No more candy. Can you punch it up? Cool. So when I came on, there was a bunch of, as we like to call it, technical debt within the organization. So my first year was basically destroying as much of that as humanly possible and taking rid of the complexities that don't need to be in place. So first step, we redid and standardized all of our computers that we have here at the Asylum for the most part. That everything is now baseline. We know what we have. Special thanks to the plasma cutter folks for finally replacing the last old ass piece of machinery that was actually in this place that was controlling the plasma cutter in the back. So that made me so happy. We're migrating a bunch of our services up in Amazon because it makes my life a billion times easier. Automated backups, automated attention, tons of cool things that makes my life easy. The new phone system that went in, we had a bunch of issues with our old one, fighting with Comcast and all that type of fun stuff that we just all in all replace it. There will be an actual phone line coming out somewhere around here, probably in over in the meeting room, most likely for people to go through the conference calls. We upgraded our internet as of last week to a much faster connection. We used to have 2, now we have 1, and it's half the cost now. So you'll notice speeds have increased. We updated all the machines in FPR1 to the newest set of software. So we now have Solvers 2019 out there everywhere for everyone to go through and use now. So fantastic. Thank you to all the shop leads and other members who worked with me to get a list of software that you needed for either classes or for cool projects that you're going to work on in the future. This is more a thing for me. If you've noticed in NPR1 and you now need special types of logins to get into things, that's eventually going to make it over into the shop areas as well, especially CNC Alley. So if you pass a class, you will now need a username eventually in the future to even touch the shop bot or even touch the plasma cutter page. So cool things like that are coming. Upcoming projects, CA access control. So meaning in order to enter the building, you have to be within club automation. That's all controlled here on site, getting rid of these 2 other systems that we have. And then I've slowly been upgrading a bunch of our other hardware and access points that we have around here because of donations. So if anyone knows of any people that are doing donations for newer generation hardware, preferably stuff in the last 3 years, please let me know. I'm already talking to Tufts Medical Center. They're probably going to get another batch of stuff this year. So if you know of any place, please go ahead and let me know. Cool. Tom.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to be talking to you about facilities and a little bit about shop operations. This has been quite the year. So get close to the microphone. Oh, okay.
Should tickle your ear.
Eat the mic. I'll try to. I'll try to.
There you go.
I'm going to start off talking a little bit about our shop operations because I think there's been a lot of changes that have been made in the past year and since we were here last year. A new shop lead and volunteer compensation structure was developed. So no longer are shop leads given free memberships. They are now paid employees. This is in general trying to shift away from sort of an ad hoc volunteer trade situation and more towards a clean compensation, which I think is in general a good way for us to go as the organization matures. Some of the goals that I want to work towards are improving the management and oversight, streamlining streamlining the purchasing processes that shops go through, and refining the shop budgets and the methods through which you track them. Okay, so building. There's been a lot of upgrades and also a lot of repairs. To start off, the lights, they were dim the last time. It was May in 2018. So right now we have LED lights. We got them for free, so that's good. And we also have better heating and cooling systems. That's in part because of a lot of coordination with building management. The electrical infrastructure has improved and has been augmented. It has been repaired many times as well. So has the ventilation systems. And something that I'm excited about that's coming up is we're going to be having the laser shop move closer to this building, actually within this part of the building, and have the laser ventilation be pushed out towards the train tracks. Instead of our neighbors. They have been very, very patient, so a round of applause for our neighbors. Thank you. You can drop it upstairs. So as far as goals go, I'd like to enhance the ventilation and other building systems. I think we obviously have room to improve there. And then overall widen the network of relationships with contractors and other service providers as we mature and grow and look towards moving into a new location. It will be important for us to kind of establish that network. Okay, so another area that I worked in was studio and storage contracts. We renumbered and reformed the studio storage space systems. Audits in terms of safety are continuously held, both in informal check-ins and more formal sweeps, like the recent electrical safety audit. Yes, done. Whoever said that. But it has been good in that it's uncovered a lot of wrinkles left over from previous systems that we, or I didn't know about, but now we are getting into a cleaner, more nice system. That, my goal will be to have a fully defined accounting of adherence to space agreements. So cleaner into the future. And finally, the Awesome Knot program. This is something that I've worked on since I first started here. And it's been going under, it's gone through a lot of evolution through the years, and I'm very proud of the work that's been done. 11 Awesome Knots this year went through the experience. They all had positive experiences and left important contributions. I wanted to give a shout out to Holly Taylor, who's not here. She has been with me since 2017, early 2017, when I brought her on as my assistant. And recently she decided to not be a coordinator anymore. So no, she's not there. say thank you, Holly, wherever you are. I will tell her that all of you. However, Chris Taylor, one of Awesome Nuts for the last season, an amazing. I made a mistake. It's Chris Duval. Chris Duval. I'm glad he's not here tonight. So he is an amazing person. If you haven't met him, you will. I'm going to make a good effort to introduce him to everyone. He's going to be working with me to run the program. And also we have a new crew of people who frankly intimidate me in their amazingness. So I'm looking forward to doing things with them for time. All right, thank goodness.
All right, thank you to the team. I'm going to present for Ann Wright because her, if I'm not mistaken, significant other is defending his PhD in chemistry tonight. So I wish them well. But before I do, I just want to thank you guys, the team, for all the hard work you do. You take a lot of shit from me. I appreciate it because you do it with grace and you stick in there. So thank you. Things are getting better. It's because of you as well. Okay, so Ann Wright, how many of you have had a chance to work with Ann Wright? So a bunch of, maybe about a third. Okay, so she's amazing. Oh, thank you. I have a punch here. Man, look at this, a wall. Okay, so I'm going to go really fast, and then you can read too. Looks like FY19 added 12 new instructors across all of our disciplines. Thanks to Adam & Co., a photo studio was launched, and the first class happened on March 26th. Woo-hoo! All right. One of the things that Ann brings to this is sort of a quarterly or term-based approach to the way classes are organized. So winter term had 38 classes. I think that might have been December, January, February, I'm not sure. And approximately 50% of those ran more than once. So those are 38 unique classes, and half of them, so another 19, ran more than once. Spring term is going to host 46 classes, with half of those running more than once per term. And it's really great to see certifications, popular classes, that kind of data is really helpful for us to understand what's like our reliable offerings, and then where can we sort of play around at the edges? Where can we experiment with new offerings? So if any of you have class ideas, I encourage you to reach out to Ann because she's hungry for new ideas. She loves this stuff. She's great at it. Okay, winter term reached over 370 students. Spring term will reach over 300 students. We've also hosted 13 students from South Korea in, when is that, January, Nick? Nick?
Yeah.
Nick's gone. Okay, so that was January. We're going to host probably another 30 to 40 over the summer in 2 different sets. We'll be offering 4 separate tracks that they'll be able to take this time. They were so impressed with what the students learned, how excited they were about it. They want to expand that relationship with us. Summer, we'll host additional groups for summer camps in July, August, and September. I don't know what those are, but I'm excited about summer camps. Woo-hoo! I want to sign up. With the city of Somerville, we were selected for 7K digital fabrication program. I think is Rebecca here?
She's not.
She's not, but she's heading that up. It's really exciting. One of the goals of this is for us to get on a path where we're able to offer workforce development and training programs. The city investment in us to do that is exciting. They've invited us to try it again. We haven't actually run this yet, but we've got the curriculum down now, so we're excited to start marketing it with community partners. And then we've got an outstanding $50,000 grant to the Boston Foundation. I guess we haven't heard back on it, so maybe that's good news, because usually you hear declines pretty fast. Okay, let's go to the next one. Some major growth areas for the last year. Sub-automation has enabled improvements to class scheduling, ticketing, reporting, etc. We've eliminated a lot of double booking of shops and classroom space. I don't know if that's impacted your lives, but that sounds important. Not double booking. Streamlined submission for recurring classes. So that means that you don't have to basically redo the work every time you want to run a recurring class. That sounds good for instructors. 3-month, this quarterly scheduling, winter, spring, summer, and fall. It's on track to become more of sort of a catalog-based approach where we can really plan our quarterly income projections based on that, which is going to be important. Monthly education newsletter drives recurring sales. It's insane. So without Timothea, I get to play around with the data. She usually is in there. We were down a couple of classes last week and said, hey, please send out a newsletter with some classes. We sent it out. It made 6,000 in sales in 72 hours. It was insane. So, that's pretty cool. Can't use that button all the time. Improved communication between education manager and instructors. I assume that's true, instructors? It is. Excellent. Professional development workshops for instructors generated new content ideas for classes. I really like this idea of, what can the metal shop make with the wood shop? A table, or who knows what. But it sounds really exciting. Company and private course offerings. I think we've had 2 Google classes. Maybe you taught one of them or both of them. How did those go?
The first one, the bigger one.
You didn't scare those Google. Okay. We'll see if they come back. That's awesome. But it's a really good insight, and it suggests that there's kind of this powerful nugget for offsites and things like that that we can be tapping. Very excited about that. And then, of course, we have this international student engagement. If some of you have arena connections to places like Italy, maybe we can reach out to more international students. I think that would be exciting. South of France is fantastic. I think we should just exchange program. Home stays, maker stays. Okay, looking forward, what's up? More cross-disciplinary project-based classes, and certainly this workforce development. We're gonna, thanks to Steve, we've been connected to, where are you, Steve, back there? The Steel Yard. I was nudging around on their website. Turns out they have welding to workforce. Sounds awesome. So we're gonna go down. You can steal. It's exactly right. We're gonna steal generously. So excited about this. Inspired by, sure. It's the hip hop time. It's good. More professional development opportunities for instructors. This idea of building more dialogue across shops and across what instructors are doing. I think that's exciting. It's a great idea. We'll start launching a printed brochure or course catalog for courses offered each term. Now that Anne's getting to think quarterly, we're seeing what those recurring money makers are that we can be reliably getting out into the marketplace. We're trying to print them off and drop them off. This is really important for some of our partners, places that are already doing workforce development in Somerville. Let's leave them with brochures that their clients can get access to. Better integration between ticketing and scheduling systems. And a few more badass classes. Yeah! What's the baddest ass class we have right now? Badass Home Ec. Badass Home Ec. I think that's another Sal win. Yeah. Sal, Karen Christians. Yeah. It's sold out in like 24 hours. And so many more people that want to take it. That's awesome. And these tractor stools that I'm seeing around, those are pretty badass, literally. That's a free one. What else do we have? Some amazing classes. Underwater photography. Is that happening? How to fix an oil rig. All right. Well, congratulations, Anne, on a great year. Okay, so moving right along. Thank you, Anne. Great year. We all lost Timothea to the Mass Cultural Council. So she's big time now, which is awesome. We have an ally. Guess what one of her little regions is? Somerville. Boston, Somerville. So we have an ally at Mass Cultural Council. So after a very brisk, thank you to the team for doubling down on filling this gap, we found Julia. Good job. Welcome to Artisan's Asylum.
Welcome. It's been fantastic. Like I parachuted down here, as Lars said. I'm a visual artist. By training, I'm a fine artist. So basically, all these machines and shops are very exciting to me. I love being around creatives and makers. So that is one of the big reasons that I am extremely excited to be here. I met some of you tonight, and I would like to meet all of you. So I will hope to kind of talk to you and see what you do and get to know the place. Basically, I'm Brazilian, as you can see there. That's a very big Brazilian flag. But it's complicated. I was born in America. I was born in Colorado, but I lived in Brazil for most of my life. And I came to Boston to do my MFA. So I have an MFA in art. I went to art school. This is somewhat kind of the same vibe as kind of my MFA program, with this very open space, the studios, so many different interests, mediums, everything. To me, it's so exciting. You can't even, it's like beautiful. Coming in here is fun. Anyway, and so I stayed, and so here I am. Let's see, what's next there? Oh yeah, here, I'm talking about art. This is meta, I didn't think about this, but it's pretty meta. Anyway, so this is me talking about art. At the previous place I worked in full-time, which is the Ville Victoria Center for the Arts, which is a Latin-led organization of the South End of Boston. I would tell you to go there, visit, but the building has been shut down because it is unfortunately in such bad shape that it cannot be salvaged. So they have to figure out what to do next. But in a way, I guess, bittersweet, here I am. So I'm excited to be here and to meet you all. And talk to me, ask questions, and I want to get to know all of you. But right now, I don't know a lot yet because I'm, again, parachuting. But I will promise to have so much more information and knowledge on everything come like 2 weeks. Oh, this is me working in the studio. I used to be your neighbor, actually. So for the longest time, I heard about this place, and I really kind of wanted to be a part of it. But it ended up that it was better for me to have a studio that was kind of a little larger and different because of what I was doing at the time. But it's right here at Market Basket, that really grungy warehouse without heat. Anyway, but it was a great studio and I loved it and it was awesome. But right now, my studio is in my home. I still make art. Please visit my website if you would like. Yes.
What do you want to learn here?
What? Oh my goodness, that's a great question. So I'm interested in metals somewhat. Again, I've done all of these things eventually in my life, but I'm very rusty with the metal part.
No
I would like familiarize myself with more technological things. I'm very low tech in what I do, but I am curious and excited to learn new things, so that might be interesting as well. Yeah, so many things. I mean, yeah, those are the forefronts in my mind, but yeah. Yeah?
Timothea did so many things and her job kept changing. And so I'm curious, how has your job role been described to you? Like, what is your job? What is your job as you understand?
Everything. Basically, I was hired to do backflips while juggling. No, I'm kidding. But I'm not. Anyway, I think I will have to understand it's apparently big shoes that I'm filling, and I'm okay with that. Throughout my life as an artist, as an art administrator, which I've been for a few years now, I have learned to learn, and I actually enjoy that. So hopefully I will have the right hats or, create new ones as needed. But what I've been described as, it's like an outreach position and an administrative position at the same time, which is a lot, but,
Sure.
But I'm happy to take on the challenge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome.
And I think the last question, and maybe it's not on anybody else's mind. I don't know, to myself. How do we say your last name?
My last name is Czech or whatever. So, okay, I'm Brazilian American and my name is Hungarian, so the umlaut makes, I know, it's complicated, but it's Checo. If you want to get real specific, you can say Czech, but I'm not going to make it, that's unfair. Checo is fine. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Artisans. So last year, by the numbers, I want to give you a sense of financial and roll into next year's budget. What we're looking, it's going to hand it over to the board. Board to talk about our futures. So this is our core business. We're going to start with the core business. Then we're going to look at the big budget. But right now, so when I started, so Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, right? Our fiscal year starts July 1. So we're talking about July 1 through August, September, through September 30th for Q1, and then we move forward. So you can see, if we look at education income, we can see how that's, Oh, you know why Q4 looks so?
We're only partway through it.
Yes, we've only had 1 month. Thank you. So
Don't do that.
we're working our way across. Our rentals, our memberships are running about 1-to-1. Education showing that strong performance over time, right? So we're getting up to about not quite $1 million in revenue, but that's just from our core business, right? Rentals, memberships, and education. We have other sources of income as well, which we'll take a look at: charitable contributions, partnerships, things like that. But that's kind of what we're looking at for the last year in terms of revenue. What's that?
I'm looking just across like Q1, Q2, 3, Q4 total. Does that number look right?
No, it sure doesn't. Yeah, you know, it
back OD envelope here.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You know what I think is happening is when you copy and paste from Google Sheets into whatever this Google Slides is, we're losing something.
Yeah.
So I will send revised, I will send my dashboard revised as a follow-up email. Thanks for that catch. Yeah. Do the other, okay. So here's just for the visual among us, what that trend looks like. By and large, it's upward, which I'm really happy about. If it was the other way, I would be saying goodbye. But we're doing really well, and what I like also is how, you know, rental income is not only going up, but it's taking up a really healthy share of our income. If we get education to be another third, that earned income is enormous value for philanthropic entities to be leveraging with us, right? We can say we're 93% earned income, and a third of that is education. We can get that matched to the philanthropic community out there. So I'm really excited about what those trends are looking like right now. We go to the next. Okay, I have to switch over to QuickBooks. We're just gonna open books here so you can see what things look like. Give me 1 second.
While you're getting that right,
Yeah, can you tell a joke?
I can tell a joke, but.
Okay.
So, as you can see, our numbers and stuff are all going up this year. I just want to give a quick reminder out to everyone. So we recently switched over to Club Automation. That gave us a lot of headaches in the beginning. That caused a lot of problems, but looking at the numbers and the way things are going, things are starting to trending up. What I'm asking is to talk to you guys and others that if you guys see problems within Club Automation, if you notice people talking about issues with Club Automation, about their experience, about their signups, about their classes, about how they're receiving automated emails, please let myself or Tim know so we can actually go ahead and fix those problems. So the last couple of months have been Tim and I receiving emails from folks with screenshots with problems with working with them to resolve a bunch of these issues, such as the last where if you reply to Club Automation, nothing happened. And now it actually goes to member services, as an example. So if stuff does happen, please let myself and Tim know so we can address those types of things so that we don't know about it, we can't fix it. So anyways, just ask me after this.
When you thought about this, who's editing our meetup or our Google Calendar? Because that's like for us teachers and
So I know meetups, our meetup.com as an example is done by different instructors that we have here and also different members as well for different events.
Jason, tell a joke.
how do I get
You have the pirate jokes.
Not today. Oh, Lars is ready. So close. So close.
That's what I was trying to ask.
Copy Mars. Other I've sent this a few times and it's like an answer.
Those are really tiny.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I'm sure the folks online can download stuff.
That's one bigger number.
Just in terms of font size, they don't care how much the money is. We don't care about that. They want font.
Numbers are way too small.
All right, so one of the things that we have here is a ton of revenue sources. So we use a pretty common global chart of accounts, a lot of revenue lines. What I want to just focus on is our budget projection and how we did it. Very simple, right? So the columns you should be paying attention to are the actual and then the budget. So one of the things that you'll see that I haven't done, I haven't gotten anything close to what was budgeted in philanthropic and business contributions, right? I've been focused, to be totally honest, on our core business and shoring that up. My approach has been, if we don't have a solid internal operation, we don't have anything to sell. So and the second reason there is that I'm pretty new to Boston. I don't have a Rolodex. I think it's gotten better since I've been here. Michael's introduced me to a lot of people. Start calling the phone beginning fiscal year 20. But I think development is about relationship building. And I have not built those relationships. I need your help building those relationships. I need the board's help building those relationships. Over the last year, I've really focused on our earned income and ensuring that we're sustainable from that perspective for now. So that's a huge gap in terms of what was projected and where we are at. And that accounts probably for 80% of what will look like a budget shortfall when we look at FY19 final figures. Other areas are pretty good. If you just work your way down, and if you look at, for example, if you can read 5180, that's the revenue for studios. And we're at about 80% of what was projected. I don't know where the budget came from. I wasn't a partner in building the budget. Certainly worked to try to ensure that we could hit that budget. But we haven't hit all of these numbers. And I think one of the exciting things about this year is to have the opportunity to set some targets that I think are realistic. Do we really want to bring in 200 more new members? What does that do for capacity in the shops, for example? We have to weigh these trade-offs and make sure the budget numbers reflect accurate growth assumptions for the year ahead. So that's what you'll see when you get to the FY20 budget. You can work your way down. The most interesting thing to do when you want to glance at these quickly is look at the difference between the percent of budget, right? Because that's where then you get these, oh, interesting, revenue for education was at 50% of projections. But if you think back to what education revenue looked like, $13,000 in July, to get to a number that might have been as big as 386,000 would be a hockey puck, or not the puck, the stick, the hockey stick that, it's just not something that I was able to deliver. And I'm not sure that that was a reasonable number. Of course I say that, and that's in my face sometimes. But anyways, this is how we're looking overall in terms of budget to action. The budget said we would raise 1.8 million. Our actual is just a little north of $1 million right now. 2 more months to go. So I think we're going to hit that 1.2 million that I said was our annual budget. That's my projection. The growth that was assumed in this budget was 1.87. Any of the board members who were a part of that budget process want to pipe up, say a word or two? Okay. Yes.
What's that negative 212,000?
The negative 212, right here, over budget?
Is that a deficit?
Yes, that's interesting. Yeah, that's just relative to what was projected by June. We are 212 shy of that projection. Yeah. So if you were to look over, like if you look at May, it's 200. So you just work your way back, it's probably gonna be 15,000 per month or something cumulative.
Over the back.
Yeah, exactly. So we're definitely running big deficit compared to what was projected. The big question is, did we need 1.87 million? So moving on to our expense side. It's interesting because we're seeing low percentages as well. And that's actually where you want to see low percentages, right? So we're achieving goals that have been set without spending quite as much. There are some areas, so for example, where contract services, I think you guys paid a lot to find me.
Money well spent.
Oh,
Money well spent.
That's what I'm waiting for. All right.
No pressure.
But there are areas where we've been able to legitimately contain our costs. You know, if you look at salary and wages, some of those costs. When you look at our shop supplies, you know, when I came in, one of the big questions was, are we gonna have shop budgets? Shop budgets have been frozen, right? I remember that very vividly. And we're running at about 100% of what was projected for shop consumption. And the reason why I think that's on track is because you're essential to this place staying open, to being a service that people value, right? So I'd be shooting myself in the head if I didn't hit that number. Anyways, all right, so here's how we're doing when it gets to the bottom line. Yeah, we got a lot of
the bottom
expenses.
line.
We got a lot of expenses here. Phew. All right, there we go. So total expenses are about 1.1, and I think by the time we come out of this fiscal year, we'll probably have, I'm gonna guess right now, about 50,000 in the bank. So it's not huge, it's exceedingly modest, but at the same time, be cash positive for FY20. And this board is gonna help us grow that number by what? 50 times. It's gonna be amazing. Actually, thank you for saying that because this was a struggle, and thanks to Tim and Jason, everybody who worked to get us off. I don't know what the hell Open Bravo is, and I don't want to know.
I don't want to talk.
But I'm really
Don't you dare bring up our trauma in public.
I'm really glad we're in QuickBooks because most of the rest of the world understands QuickBooks, and that's what's most important. So we have one of the things that we don't have a full-time bookkeeper now. What we've done is we've outsourced that because it's the age of the cloud. We've got a very, very great company. It's a woman-owned business in Central Square that's managing our books for us, and they're doing a great job. They brought all of the data out of, what is it, Wyatt Urban?
Yep.
What are they called?
Into
Numbers and
QuickBooks
boxes.
for FY19. That was a big priority. And they're working on reconstructing our books for FY17 and FY18 as well, so we can get those audits done and behind us. We're almost there. So thank you for catching that. That's a big catch. So that's where we are. Any questions about FY19?
What's the firm name?
The firm name is Numbers and Boxes. Yeah. So yeah, if you need an accountant, I don't know. Any questions? Move on? Good? Okay. Now let me try to switch to Excel. Give me 1 second. Jason, a joke?
Jason, please. A joke.
Joke.
Ted, a joke. Ted, a joke.
Pirate jokes.
Pirate jokes.
Pirate jokes.
Not a pirate joke. What happens when two giraffes collide? It's a giraffe jam.
Get the hook.
Get the Excel. Get the Excel. Excel's funnier.
Lars, can Clippy tell us a joke?
Better aim for candy. Thank you. I worked on that. Oh, look. Excel.
All right. That is exciting. No, blow up the window. Why is the window?
Lars, Command Shift F. Command Shift F.
My favorite thing in corporate presentations when everyone is like, no, click left, no, up, left, no, over to the right. Okay, yeah, great. This is amazing.
It's really good to be able to see it.
Did you guys see enough?
We'll be passing out opera glasses to everyone at the next meeting.
Thank
Lars,
you.
shrink column A a little.
I'm not gonna fuss too much. If somebody wants to come up here and drink column A for me
Right.
while I talk, I'm really happy.
Nope.
All right.
Now I don't know the numbers on this.
Delete all. Yeah, delete all. Delete Way to go, IT.
We are so good at Excel. It's a good little exercise in deciding my consensus, how I should present.
We hired you?
Sadly.
Did we try Control C?
I think if you just slide it left and then you
Go to edit and select it and do it.
We got turn it off and turn it back on.
Yeah.
Time for another joke.
This is very tough.
More giraffe jokes.
Seriously, the peer pressure is so hard. Really? The little icon that looks like the file save. Yeah, that one.
And jump 3 times.
Anyone who's shouting want to actually go up there? Oh my God.
That's you?
What happens when I get so bad at numbers?
You got 4.
It's not doing. Oh, I'm so glad this is being recorded.
It's already open, Dan.
Can somebody give me a beer? You know, I don't mind closing the window and
It's Google Sheets. It saves everything.
That's why it's even.
The Google, it knows.
my aim roll is typically just like
Take it as
No, don't go back there.
I keep saying it's gonna get better until
So is that a soft adjourn? Are we out?
I have a joke. How many makers does it take?
You mean how many people does it take to undo Jason's mistake?
Google Sheets.
Just this whole thing. Yes, I just leave it. You got everything against here. And then they reopened the version, and now that option is just not.
I'm just happy that this is going to exist forever.
It's not. It's a live stream. It's not.
Doesn't that get recorded?
No, not always.
Oh.
I don't know. There might be an option.
They stopped on my walk-in. I don't know who was it. Almost. Yeah.
I'm sure anyone really realizes that this is.
Anyways, I heard the whole meeting. It sounds great. Oh my god. That was not a good.
We're back. Everyone, take your seats.
Use string column B.
It was FY20.
Picture of the working document. Put it on the top. Show the highlights.
And I'll just go over you.
Now we lost
So,
Timed bio break. Can we reconvene? So what I want to talk through a little bit is some of the assumptions for growth in the year ahead, because we need to grow a little bit. What we need to be able to do is grow our bottom line so we have money to invest in our own equipment, right? We want to be able to securitize loans and things like this so that we can invest in our equipment and infrastructure. I think that's going to be key. We have a couple of paths that Rachel's going to talk us through. We might be here for 2 years. We could be here for 4 years. Whether it's 2 or 4, we need better equipment, right? There are some assumptions about growth that we're going to be hitting. So I just want to talk through them a little bit here. Let me do this. So, our core income is going to remain centered on memberships and, you know what this doesn't have? This is different. It doesn't have like totals by category, so 5186. You have to do the math in your head. But it looks to me like it's about 580,000 in revenue from memberships. And that is not driven by a rate increase, unless things look different in the final budget. And this budget is not board approved yet. This is my first pass. But if we keep this budget, you won't be seeing a rate increase. What we're going to see is new offerings. So for example, we have family offering would be something that we would try to get into the market, right? And that would be a new source of revenue for families. So rather than increasing the price of unlimited memberships to $225 or whatever we think the market could bear, what we want to do is identify new offerings that we can insert into the market to grow our revenue. So that's one of the big assumptions there. Another is that we really want to be strengthening memberships from community partners, from folks who may not have a direct stake in using the welding or the plasma cutter or the wood shop, but they see us as essential to helping achieve their mission. And so how can we create relationships where they're kicking in a little bit of income toward our bottom line? It's not huge, but these start to add up to, once we're paying our core expenses, rent, utilities, insurance, staff, personnel, this money can be spread across our shops and our programs and things like that. So every dollar does end up mattering in a budget like this. Let's see, where else do we have? I think we've got some higher income from institutional and corporate partnerships. Education income increases modestly, and the goal there is we want to be seeing more of this institutional and corporate partnering, off-site trainings, retreat-style activities that can happen here. And one of the reasons why we're investing in the common space is so that this can become a flexible space for those kinds of activities and not be taking up shop space if we don't need to. We could be building trebuchets in here. Or not. Trebuchet. So if we're successful next year, we'll look at a substantial increase in our total revenue with grants, contracts and awards, sponsorships, and individual contributions, comprising a significant amount of that. And that income, the goal is for it to largely be general income that can be spread across our core operations and not program income. Looking at the expense side, my goal for next year is to largely contain our expenses. I don't want to see us get overextended. I'd rather see us be building up our bank account, because when I came here, we didn't have a bank account, and we burned our cash rate. Our burn rate was insanely high. We probably went through $68,000 in the first 3 months on expenses or obligations, I should say. And what I'd like to see us do is, if we can come out of next year with $300,000 in the bank, we'll be positioned to make a much, much stronger set of choices around our future home in FY21, FY22 or 23, whenever that time horizon comes. And we're also going to, frankly, look better to donors. We're going to look better to banks if we've got our own bank account. So I think what I've proposed out of all of these expenses and revenue is net income of about $300,000. We're able to see a bank account with about $300,000 of earned revenue in the bank. I think we'll be really, really well positioned for an extraordinarily exciting move in 2021 or 2023, whenever that happens. I will make these draft budgets available with board approval. I think what needs to happen first is that these need to be hammered on by the board and really sort of means tested. Like, what was the performance last year, and are these projections realistic? It's roughly 15% increase across several categories that gets us to this bigger number. So I'm pretty excited about it. Auto insurance is a bizarre rider. What is that for, Tim? It was something that came up.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, it's pretty, it's a cheap policy because we don't have any company cars. But for off-site events, something like the Mini Maker Fair, when we do have people traveling.
Yeah,
we have to do like large all stuff.
Yeah, so it's a modest rider that comes on with AFCO, and it didn't seem worth canceling. It seemed like an unknown.
Yeah, it was a recommendation from our insurance broker.
That's right. Yeah. And I was sending this around so you can have on. It's a lot of data to be hammering on in a group setting, but I'll send it around so you guys can look at some of these assumptions. And at the very least, I'll send around FY19 along with the updated dashboard. Andrew, thank you for that. Yeah.
But I mean, I take home people.
All right, so let's get back on track. I think Rachel,
If
you
my
got some
personal
polling
insurance
for us to do.
looked at it and said, oh,
This is where the technology fair was supposed to
we're not
happen.
gonna cover that.
Yeah, right.
I'm never done.
Sure.
Good job.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Woo! Okay, so strategic priorities really quick. Sorry, I forgot about this. Want to be focused on philanthropy. generated by community enthusiasm for our value proposition. I think it's now time to take what we've built, the story that we have, and start selling it in the community. I think my confidence is there. I've got Steve Darazinski as my wingman on this. Pretty exciting. Let's go sell this place. All right. We've got incredibly strong partnerships and they're growing. Just as one little indicator, we had somebody come down from Western Avenue Studios earlier last week, and they were really excited about the possibility of Artisan's Asylum managing their space. Well, look, that's not going to happen. We need to figure out this space first, but it's exciting that they see us as a resource for that conversation. Pretty crazy. And then, of course, futures, answering the question, where are we going to be in 2 or 4 years? Operational priorities, really got to build our team. That includes our deskies, that includes our shop leads, and that includes core staff. Want to focus on some professional development. If we've got cash, I want to see some of that cash redirected towards professional development activities that strengthen our team's ability to deliver value to the community. Facility improvements, as Tom was talking about. We want to see ventilation, we want to see some heating. We want to see this place cocked up and buttoned up for winter, stopping the roof from leaking. Little details. And of course, we need to be investing in electrical and other pieces of infrastructure. We do want to focus on outreach, growing our audience, increasing their participation in what we do, and partnerships are going to be key to that outreach. I've got a personal agenda too. I've been starting to build it a little bit. There are some assets that I bring that I've wanted to listen and learn a little bit. I think it does make sense to begin reaching out internationally, right? Molly's on the board. You can help with this. How do we build relationships with other maker spaces? Folks like Nick's still here, have relationships with maker spaces in places like Lithuania. What can we do to make those relationships live, inform how we work, and create opportunities for us to also experience the world out there? There's a lot of opportunity for policy advisory roles. We're currently consulting with the City of Cambridge on a makerspace that they're developing. James is leading a lot of that conversation around systems and infrastructure. But when we start looking at municipalities that are starved for creativity, one asset that they have are failing buildings. So how can they go into partnerships with folks like you to strengthen the creative economy and urban manufacturing in their cities? And I think you've got some really good data and ideas to share there. Tim and I were having a good conversation the other day about this consulting people in, sort of tag team people. Andrew went off to where? Thailand, India, somewhere? Sharing the message about Artisan's Asylum, right? How many other folks can we empower with just a little bit of information about what we do? What you need a budget? Let's be transparent, give you that budget so you can have that conversation. And then program design, develop those workforce development programs, entrepreneurial programs, other ones that really help makers thrive. So those are a couple of the goals that, sort of as an organization voice, I'd really love to bring. So we did that. So let's talk about the future, Rachel.
The future.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Lars. Dr. Claus feeding my inner monologue of wanting to be a stand-up comedian, so bear with me. So what does the future hold? We don't know. No one knows what the future holds, but what are we trying to do? What are we trying to build towards? Can I help someone with my clicking? Great, if I can get a take this. Let's talk about the stomping in the room, aka the elephant in the room. So our lease expires in 2021, we know that. We know that the market is dynamic, it's changing. The market, right? The Green Line extension is coming in, Somerville is changing. Mayor Curtatone is putting a lot of changes in place. We know that growing this place is important to us. We know that Somerville is our home. That's where we started, that's our heritage. We acknowledge that. Stasis is tough to find. Stasis is a big word. Is that your word? Stasis. Staying the same. Oh yeah, no, we're cool. Just give us money. It's tough to build a storyline around that, right? So we are in the process of trying to figure out what does that look like for us. Number one, Jacob has done a phenomenal job of representing your voice at the board meetings. And the question that we hear through Jacob, this is the validation. Are we gonna exist? Yeah, of course we are. This place has to exist. We have to exist. Is it gonna be in this building? We know that the lease expires. We are talking with our current landlords. But we also know that there are other opportunities in the greater Boston area, and we're talking to those folks as well. The next slide. What are we looking for? There's 3 big picture, right? Whoever's done carpentry work, cost, quality, speed, right? How big? How much? What's the timeline? These are the variables that we're putting out on the marketplace. We have a request for information with architects saying, hey, if you know anything that could possibly house this type of space, let us know, we'll talk. We are strong. Back to what Lars said a minute ago. We are desirable, we are makers. People want us. The mayor of Somerville, I sat across the table from him and I said, look, we need to own our destiny. We rent right now, and all of you who are not homeowners, you know what it's like to be a renter. You are subject to the will of your owner. I said, we need to own our destiny. I said, we need philanthropy in order to make sure that we have that available to us. Living month to month, paycheck to paycheck, starving artist is a key phrase, cliche, because it is true, right? We need to move beyond that. There's other mayors in the neighborhood that also want us. We have strong brand recognition. People know about us. So we're excited to have those conversations. These are the parameters that are guiding those conversations. The board is evaluating how do we make those happen, okay? We are going to exist. It's gonna look a little different than Stompy, but we're going to exist. What's next? Anyone recognize us?
How
We're
many
standing
people
in it.
were in that room when it was like that?
We'll never fill it, that's what I thought. It's not too big.
Right? We'll never fill it. Not only did we fill it, but we bumped out left and bumped out right. We filled that. This entire magical wonderland was empty. And it was beautiful makers like all of you that created that future. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but it's amazing. Okay, next question. Yes, okay. I know you've been multitasking. Everybody get out your cell phone. What?
That's right, Andrew.
That's
Cell phone.
right.
You can do this.
Even you can participate, Andrew. We've all been multitasking and we're gonna interact live. Interaction, technology fail possible. Or it's gonna be amazing. I don't know, but buckle up, we're doing it. So we're gonna ask a series of questions. This is the first question. I want you to follow the instructions on the screen. And as you respond, your answers, boom! So somebody please, oh yeah, and you can follow along by laptop if you want to.
333 22333 And then text Jolly Dog 517.
It's Jolly Dog. Yeah.
Apparently that's my client name. This is all you people participating, live stream craziness. This is amazing.
Oh my god, are there emojis?
Okay, now Wolf, thank you people who read the article today. New York Times did an amazing article. You've seen the documentary about Meow Wolf. It's definitely on my bucket list.
Oh, excuse me.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, ready? Everybody submitted. We're gonna go on to the next. This one's for reals. Next question is for reals. Shit got real. Ready? Next. Hey, if we're in a new building, what would this space, this social area, what would that look like? This space was empty.
How do you spell jacuzzi?
J'accuse.
I totally want a disco. Whoever said that, you're amazing. I support you. What could it look like? Shape, size, couches, light furniture, comfy chairs.
I'm
Rachel. Yeah. So this is anonymous. I don't know who said what. And yes, you only get one answer. So pick your best answer.
Pick your worst answer.
Okay, everybody participate. Bomb shelter.
It's already a bomb shelter.
Yeah, how do we spell
Ted,
that?
it's the bomb shelter.
More jacuzzi.
We're trying to prevent fires, not cause them.
I burn shit. Oh my God. Awesome. What could it possibly look like? Great. We're gonna move on to the next question. When new people who've never been here before, when they walk in, feel, oh, we have emotions. We do. We're wonky people. I love it. What do we feel? What do we want new people to feel when they walk in here? Oh my God, this place is amazing. This place is. What was that feeling when you walked in here?
This is horrifying and amazing.
Oh, money.
It's great.
We know this place is amazing. Absolutely do. New people walk in here all the time. Our visitors spite. We keep telling people to come and visit. We want them to feel amazing. We want them to feel welcome. We want to feel part of the community. Community, who said it? Is it up there? Community. Somebody, please. I don't have a cell phone. I'm not cheating. Okay, we're gonna go back to the next one. Learn. That's part of our motto. We're a makerspace. If we're in a new space, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 square feet. I don't know about big. I don't know what we can afford. No, we're not passing out free candy. There is no van. We haven't had a lot of youth in this building before. What does that look like? How do we support alternative education? Quickly derailing.
How did you see this working, Rich?
How many of you wish you had this space when you were a kid? Yeah, bars and kids don't mix, apparently. That's for fun. Rules. Okay. Thank you for the participation. Next question. We're gonna make shit. Equipment. Like what?
So should this be that we don't have already?
If it's broken, we need to fix it. Don't we want equipment that works? Sure. What's new stuff you want? We don't need a kiln. That's down across town. Lasers. With ventilation would be amazing.
We don't need a new building for that.
Water jet. Yeah. I went over to Autodesk. I saw their water jet. So cool.
Autodesk has a jacuzzi?
That's all the 5-axis water jet. And I don't even do that shit. We can afford it. We can afford it. This is not. We can afford this. We are amazing. We can be sponsored. We are amazing. We can have equipment that says, hey, you're gonna put a new product out there? Guess what? I'm gonna break your shit and I'm gonna tell you how to make it better.
Because we're makers.
We deserve top of the line equipment. Yes, we are bootstrapped. That is our heritage. That is how we got here, and I am so proud of you. We deserve top of the line. Name it. Okay, we had fun. Next question. What do you want to teach? We're always looking for new classes. How do you make this? How do you make that? I made a cornhole board.
Yeah.
Leatherworking. Great. Text it. Somebody. Great. Bowl turning. Swords. Burn shit. Chicks with tools. Rock. Empowering women, children, girls, that they are makers, that they are creators, that is so incredibly powerful. We can do that.
Teascraft's still here.
Great. Artisan as an entrepreneur. Love it. These are amazing possibilities. You make the future. These are great ideas.
Oh God, mixology.
Really, cocktails?
Jim Brett's new class.
The very first class is after. So.
Sweet.
Sword making, the same thing.
Mixology and sword making. Here we go.
Yes. Awesome.
All right, next question. Must. Absolute must have. Sinks, plumbing, ventilation.
No showers.
Ooh.
You do not people want to live.
Massage chair, jacuzzi.
Event space. Who has been over there? They rent that out and they make money. Great. Awesome. I ain't too proud. I'll do that.
Ball pit. Ball pit.
Square
Sal.
feet, square feet, square feet. Huge. Thank you all for participating. This is amazing. I'm so excited. A floor and ceiling, more ventilation. Sal, you put a shout out. Please tell me you're not putting your own name.
No, he was woodshop, woodshop, woodshop.
OSHA grade air quality, particulate matters. It totally does. We don't want to come with sensitivities. We don't want asthma. Love it. Awesome. Thank you.
Next question.
All right, other side. We're done and we're fed up. This cannot happen in the new space. Maybe leaky roof if someone will put that up. What can it not have? You do not want to see what youths. I don't know. That's gonna be easy. What does the new space look like? Not have mice.
They're makers. Think of the makers.
They make poop. This is a harder question. I love this. Dead storage. Bad vibes. Moving on. Awesome. This is great. Gross black dust.
Oh, you should have seen it last time. Ghosts.
Ew. Ghosts. Oh my god. Ghosts are real.
Oh, the girls like dust.
Do it again. Okay. How many more do I have of these? Okay, that Graham can't help it.
Hey, none of us would be here. Come on.
Next question. What would be amazing?
Unicorns and rainbows.
Sparkle pony. This entire space was empty, and we built this city on rock and roll. What would be amazing in the new space? I have ideas. Lars has ideas. You have ideas. I'm from Boston. I say ideas. A home. I want a home so bad. Ownership. It makes a difference. Male Wolf, Oakland, Reno Generator. They have a home. They have a destiny. AS220 in Providence. They have a home. They have equity. Visiting artists. Endowment of 10 million, living large. Love it. Scared.
How do you delete? How does that happen?
You do it on the web client, you can't do it.
Oh, all right.
Type shorter.
What is a
Polly Shore.
This is like Thunderdome?
Yes, put it in Thunderdome.
Totally one of Thunderdome.
Polly Shore.
All over town, all day, every day.
Paula Shore, like Paul Lee Shore, like the 80s comedian that like tanked.
Like the one in
From
Biodome.
Biodome.
Oh, got it. Thanks. Totally got that. This is amazing. I think that was my last one. Checkmate. You guys have an amazing impact. We're doing amazing stuff. I hope you're proud. I am so proud of you. When I talk about Artisan Asylum to everywhere, when Lars came on board and I dragged him all over town, I was like, hey, we got a new pony. Check him out. His name's Lars. Pretty cool. We are amazing. I don't want anyone to forget that. We are absolutely amazing. A lot of the not-for-profits, a lot of the mission-driven organizations that we can reference, like the Crucible, they do an impact statement. They do a booklet every year that talks about the impact they've had. We've had an impact. They're a 501c3 makerspace happened to be Oakland, California. The heart lab. Next slide. Habitat for Humanity, another 501c3. Impact. They impact the community. We impact the community. Next slide. Artists for Humanity, another organization. I adore them. Their target is youth, underserved youth in the Boston community. They're Boston proper. They create innovative thinkers. Baby makers.
Oh my God, baby makers!
Next.
That was the punchline. It's totally up to you.
I got it.
Impact statements. What is our impact in the larger community? This is Arts and Business Council. They host and they support arts administration organizations. They also educated our entire board on how to be a board, how to work together. There's another workshop coming up in May. If you're interested in being on the board, highly, highly, highly recommend that you participate in one of their workshops. Next slide. What's our impact? Our impact is what we can document and what we can share in the startup world of our value proposition. This is what we share with donors. This is what we share with people who want to serve the mission that we have. We know we're amazing. We need to communicate that impact. And that is one of the goals that I am steering the board to say, look, we need to be able to articulate this. And we need to be able, when we go out and we reach into our Rolodex, and we say, you need to donate $1 bajillion to fund our building because we have an impact. We're an amazing group of people. You all make that possible. I just stayed up there with the mic. You make this possible. What's next? Jacob.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rachel.
So I don't have a whole ton to say, but you guys are all really awesome. I wanted to recognize some of the people that I've seen contributing that don't necessarily want to be recognized. Most of them aren't here anyways. But if you see some of these people, please tell them that they're awesome and thank them for all the work that they do with Asylum. So this is not an exhaustive list, but these are some of the people that I regularly see helping out around, volunteering, donating their time. Mr. Brown here helped with the photo studio and many other shops, machine shop, and a lot of projects like hanging things and building walls. He's been a big help recently ever since he was became a member. Simon Chase.
You're aiming that mic right at the speaker.
You showed up and use the other mic. Yeah, I can also just yell.
Yeah.
Okay, Simon Chase spent all of last night sanding down that wall. James Devotion has been helping out in probably 3 or 4 different shops, helping out different members build structures and all sorts of different things. He's been all over the place. He's great. MJ, where's MJ? I saw her.
Skipping
You
Sarah.
can find her. She and Sarah Kramer are 2 of the people who regularly empty our trash and are so grateful for that.
But do your own part.
Yes, that too. Holly Taylor, the previous Awesome Knot coordinator, she did a really, really good job kind of setting up that program and giving people work to do. Don Blair's been a really big help with the outreach and some of the student programs that have come in, like the Korea program we had. Nick Anastasia also helped with that, as well as Richard, and I don't remember his last name.
Driver.
But these are just some of the people that I've seen helping a lot recently, and there are a ton more. It's not an exhaustive list. Stay awesome, and yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yay! And that is it. Yep.
We are bakers. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your participation. Social. I love trivia questions. I also love jokes.
Talk a little bit.
Talk,
Was there
mingle.
any question? Yeah. So it seems like first of all, this is great. Like you guys. Thanks for pushing. Yes. Behind quietly. Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you. So now that we may have like a year or 2 to be able to figure out, are there any like milestones that you have in your mind of like, are we going to be on track or not to raise that big cash? Maybe it's like getting X amount of dollars of philanthropy, even though it might be smaller. Yeah. You know, in FY20 or 21. I'd just be curious to hear your thoughts about that, to be able to gut check whether we're on track to Crack that big nut when we have to. Yeah, no, it's a great question. So I think the first one is, we need something to sell. Yeah. So an LOI with some space that we're all excited about, that's like milestone number one.
At the moment.
And the second one is, we've got so Sevia Rosenstock, she's not here right now, but she's done a great job working with Bennett and a few others to start organizing a conversation about what kind of space do we want to see. And I think that needs to be coupled with an architect under contract, right? So we've got the LOI, we know a space. I'm sorry. We've got an architect who can begin working with us to come up with a design concept that has a number attached to it, right? So milestone number two. Then we can develop budgets. There's a fork in this road. I don't know where that fork's going to come from, but I was talking with a friend who's a real estate developer on the phone the other day, and he's talking about brick bottom. Most of you know what brick bottom is at this point. And he says, you guys are the highest and best use of that site. Yes, it can come down, it can be built up as condos or wet lots or whatever. He says, right now for Somerville, you're the highest and best use. You need to own it. Okay, so different conversation than an LOI on a long-term lease, 10, 15 years. So we need to come to some understanding of which path are we taking. We have two capital partners right now, one that's more advanced than another, who are interested in helping us acquire a building in some partnership form. Not sole ownership, but in some sort of partnership. It gives us equity, right? So that's another milestone. We haven't answered that question. Are we owning, are we in a partnership, or are we leasing long-term? Then that coupled with an architect who we have an agreement with. I've heard from 4 architects. One of them I'm really excited about. We haven't talked about it as a board yet, all that, lots of work to do. That's probably milestone number 3A. Then we need to do some early feasibility work. We need to come up with, that classic fundraising pyramid that says, here's your 6-figure donors, here's your 5-figure donors. Mass Dev is incredibly excited about working with us to either figure out a bond, issuing a bond, or figuring out financing loan guarantees with a bank, right? So we're going to figure out what our financing picture is going to look like at a high level. And Steve's going to help nail that to the wall. So that's going to be another big milestone. And then in terms of your core question, so I have no question in this community. If you guys could raise $3 million for a 3D doodler pen, or whatever that amount was, you can raise $30 million for our home into the future, right? I'm not actually that worried about that problem. And I think combined with lending, combined with an equity partner, we'll do good. But the first thing is we need to figure out how we're going to divide up those sort of tranches of financing. So that'll be milestone number 4. And I would be pretty comfortable if we could figure that out by December, by the end of, at the 6-month mark for FY20. Now, this is me talking off the board. We've all got a lot of work to do to kind of hammer this out, roadmap it. But that would be my big picture for now. Thanks. Yeah, sure thing. Is brick bottom still available? It is going, so it came off the leasing market. The notice of request for offers goes out in 2 weeks. And that's a national search. CDOC's capital that owns it. And so we want to be lined up with 1 or possibly 2 capital partners to put in offers on that when it goes out. So that's in motion.
Larry, there's one moment that we've been talking about as relevant for the capital campaign side of things that's worth sharing is also a year from today, basically, if not this particular day, but May 19th, 2020 is Artisan Asylum's 10-year anniversary. That's the 10-year anniversary of he dropping off a corporation paper. To be his birthday, it's very much his style to do it that way. Hoping to kick off the capital campaign in association with that 10-year anniversary celebration. There's a nice strategic alignment there. If we also have an LOI or an actual building in hand at that point, that makes it only stronger. But as far as, just to echo what Larry said as far as what the actual amounts are and then what the timelines that we set for ourselves are. That's something that we're looking to refine.
Some bullet points would be super helpful for us to be able to go and like talk to people that might be able to write checks. You know, just like so we have to come to line, right? Of, like what we ask. I think so. To that point, as we move through this process and we get clarity on kind of like path forward, at some point we want to move from these monthly updates to actually having a working group comprised of members, the board, myself, outside advisors that will be kind of focused on tackling this problem. And there's no question that this is going to sound trashy. I don't mean it trashy. I love it. But I see you guys as our sales force. You know, there's no question that we want to provide you with a hell of a lot more than bullet points. We want to give you a glossy 4-page document. We want to give you some swag. We want to like really make sure that every person you touch can touch 5 more. We'll be working through that process.
Hands. Just like the spread hands.
Just an observation. I think, I don't know, a year ago or however long ago when we were all sitting and looking at numbers on the screen and trying over like, oh gee, like people are owing money and all this other stuff. See, tonight, where we're talking about, you know, owning a building, it's so incredible, the energy, and just where we've come so far, the optimism, the energy. You know, there's a lot of tongue in cheek in the exercise that we did, but what I really appreciated about it was just get us thinking that we really are bigger. It's sort of like, you know, when you start to feel a little like, oh, it's like undeserving, like we're just not really deserving of it. And like, what's really interesting about the motivation is that your basically message is like, dudes, you know, and dudesses, you know, step up, like you deserve this. Like you guys are talented, you bring a lot to the table, you have impact to the community. It's like, we can make this happen. And it, you know, that is definitely the message that I received. And the fact that the opening line to say we are strong is very comforting, it's motivating. And, you know, let's make it happen. I mean, that, you know, to think that we could be in a space of our choice and craft it to the way that we want and vision and not be concerned about getting kicked out sometime later is pretty damn amazing. So just like hats off, it was a really effective way of bringing us together and creating a vision for where the organization needs to go. So here.
I've been here for over like 3 years. So for these people that have been here for over 3 years, like seeing these numbers that we see today, like from
there are numbers
from like, I had never seen things above 400. And like 3 years ago, things were at 12, I don't know, like just below. So to me, this is amazing that we've come like this far in such a short period of time. A great part of that is because of life.
I got a question. How'd it go out there in LA?
Well, I mean,
Everybody
we got
knows.
2 team captains here from BattleBot.
Woo-hoo!
Interviews. They're now doing 2-hour episodes, and we do talk a lot about the background of what is the robot. I did shape and talk about my main space a little bit, obviously. We also are on the banner, so like you guys are on the banner that you're able to get approved for. Because they're NA-ish, which are sponsorship stuff. But yeah, obviously NDA. Gonna work on doing and stuff with things here. Yes. We actually get our crate back tomorrow, so Valkyrie will be here. I might have to rebuild up all the panels to make so we can show off our open studios. Fiona's coming here, my co-founder. But yeah, so he runs Huge. Huge is more popular than me. He's like one of the most popular robots on BattleBots right now. New robots, fucking kills it, it's not fair. But yeah, like, yeah, stop. Stop breaking the game. You have giant wheels.
It
no
was an
one else does.
accident, it was all an accident.
But yeah, anyway, so yeah, no, the sequel was great. It's 2 weeks long. Yeah, like I very heavy-handed said about like how our makerspaces are where we live, we have one, and like think about people and all that stuff, and also mentorship. So yeah.
Third, $200 So they got one, and one of them so we contacted
And when we did the unveiling, we had an 8-year-old girl that was so obsessed about Valkyrie, how he wants to be an engineer as a little girl.
like before I could the service was like,
One of the
give me
cool things
like
that happened
50%
because the
discount.
mailbox folks, when we got invited
Okay, I'll make
out
two of these,
to
and then
Mini Maker Faire Boston,
I just
the Mini Maker Faire folks didn't realize how explosive it would be. So this year we will actually be in like the main area of Mini Maker Faire
traces
with mailbox folks next to us.
Just for the connector, actually, the wires.
And they actually
So the
had, we
recommendation
both had multiple execs coming up and talking about how important makers are, and the fact that like, this is the new generation, this is the culture, not, yeah, garage, YOLO, whatever, which is fine, you can afford it, but like, this actually makes so, like, in urban cities are seeing a huge influx of populations, you know, making so everyone is enabled, you don't have to save up for like a machining thing that costs thousands of dollars so you can like retro stuff on the weekends or whatever. And so like, making people aware that those resources are there, available across like all cities.
Wait till I get my boat built.
I don't know. I think we have a lot of really cool things. Really good at Yeah, but yeah. It's good. I like the humble brag art thing. Like this is like the textbook like you make here. Like if you're gonna start somewhere, you go here and make stuff there. I feel like that's like kind of
It's like
So, Valkyrie in LA, what ties in New Orleans?
it's like using that for case studies to go out after your answer.
Shop Buddy, no, Welding Buddy, Shop Buddy?
Well, buddy.
Well, Buddy, holy smokes, in an electric vehicle. There's a huge amount that's going on. I don't know if you guys want to continue with the humble brag, but it's pretty exciting.
We raised
$6 million for our company that I
But you know, for you guys who knew me when I was like sad in the back, like by myself.
Yeah.
You know, from floodgate, we're trying to capital a bunch of others. So we're possible.
Congrats, Matt.
And you guys have a new space somewhere?
Yeah, we do. Over at Boston.
You know what? That's all right.
Gotta leave the nest.
We like alumni. We love alumni.
Are you following Beta? Yeah, I'm gonna go to house. Good. We gotta get him down here. When you see him, ask him to come down and talk about Beta. Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Questions? Social. Talk. Bingo.
More
Thanks, guys.
Who has one so far?